Hello, everybody, and welcome back to The Advisor with Stacey Chillemi. And today I'm very excited because we have a very special guest on our show. I'm very excited to have him on the show. His name is Jon Fischer, and he is a photographer, and his specialty is authenticity. It's really the connecting with yourself and bringing out that person within you and letting that person shine, and how it impacts photography, your pictures, how you see yourself in pictures. And he's going to tell you a little about that when he begins. But it's very interesting, very inspirational, and really, really opens your eyes to new things that you may not have thought of before and things you could do to actually improve who you are as a person and really like the person you see in that mirror. So, Jon, it's a pleasure to have you on the show. I am so excited to talk to you today. Can you tell everybody a little about yourself and what you do?
Hi, Stacey. Thanks so much for having me on your show. This is so wonderful. Um, I'm a professional photographer, but right now I'm more of like an authenticity ninja. That's how because it's like to me it's this element of headshots primarily or posed photos when the subject is aware of the camera. That's
Right.
the tricky thing. Like, how do you get something genuine there? And for
Hmm.
some reason in my life, I just love authenticity.
Hmm.
And in general, I maybe a little too much. Sometimes I don't have such great filters, but I ended up like moving that towards my photography and seeing such rich opportunities that are not taken advantage of in the photography world, specifically with headshots and portraits, even branding photos, that there isn't the awareness of what's possible in if it's at all possible to facilitate some type of authenticity in the subject, even though they're scared as heck and staring at the camera, but to
Yeah.
facilitate some wonderful, genuine wonderfulness in the subject and capturing it, that becomes true. It's not just a fake look of something.
Yeah.
If that truth is able to be brought out in the subject, while the photo's taken actual true, like I'm amazing, feeling amazing, click. When the subject themselves sees that photo, it's now believable. It's
Yeah.
actually now they're seeing a candid of themselves being amazing. The photographer made them look amazing,
Yeah.
right? But it adding this element of authenticity in a candid transforms it from the client looking at that photo and saying, wow, Jon, you took such a great photo. Wow, you did such a good job. I'm going to tell all my friends about you. Thank you so much for that great photo you took. Either that, right?
Hmm.
Or I'm getting a little bit touchy, even thinking about saying what I'm about to say, or looking at that photo and saying, oh my God, I didn't know I was that. Like actually seeing it and like somehow this element of truth in the photo allows, I think, there's no tests on it, but it can allow the subject to fully take it into their soul and now see themselves differently. So
Yeah.
now when they see that photo, they could like almost like step into new shoes of what's possible because they saw a glimmer of their true self, and now they can, oh wow, I really am that. It's not just a photo, it's
Yeah.
a peek at truth. And to me, it's almost like my mission to just allow photographers to just see more possibilities with what authenticity even is in that situation. Like photographers tend to have tricks and they can do some things, but I kind of, like people like study lighting and posing but they're kind of missing this element of possibility that could be transformational. So to me, doing one's work a little bit differently could allow the photo. Who knows what the subject's going to actually do? If they're going to look at it and feel oh yummy about it, who knows?
Yeah.
But if there's that possibility that they can do some small things to enable that photo to be a vehicle of transformation, almost like I want them to, oh my God, of course I have to do it. And
Yeah.
to give their client at least that opportunity to be transformed in a way that is not really possible without that element. I think you were telling me some stories earlier about do you want to share that story? Because that was like,
Sure.
I wanted to, I didn't want you to tell it earlier because it was such a good story. I wanted to hear it with fresh ears. You
Well,
want to tell that story?
yeah, I'll tell it. For me, for years, I never liked the way I looked in photos. I hated the way I looked in photos. And, one time, a photographer had taken some pictures. He wasn't a photographer, he was on a cruise ship, and he took some pictures of me. And I really, for the first time in my life, I actually liked the pictures, and I realized that I was happy during that vacation. I was happy, I was feeling good,
Mm,
and I realized as I started working on myself and as I started to really like the person I have, started to become, the more I worked on myself, the more I liked who I was, the more I connected with my inner self, the more I liked the way I looked in pictures. And it was because I actually liked the person I saw in the mirror, and not just physically, but emotionally. That's what really played the key role, is that me, I liked who I was becoming. I was proud of the person I was becoming. My self-esteem was rising, and I was feeling good about me. And because I was feeling good about me, when I looked at myself in pictures, I liked the way I look. And that, for years, I never liked the way I looked in pictures. But as I started working on myself, emotionally, internally, that played a big role in how I felt externally. And I also took care of myself better. And I also started to really, everything, physically, mentally, everything was like a turnaround. And it played
mm,
such a big role. And that authenticity that you talk about kind of came out because as I was working on myself, I really realized who Stacey was. And the more I
mm.
realized who I was, the more started to like who I was becoming, the better I felt when I looked at myself in a picture.
That is so cool. That is so cool. And yeah, that's actually exactly it. And almost with a little bit of a tweak in terms of what I teach, because I'm on a mission now to teach, to sort of open the door to other professional photographers that the concept of authenticity is huge.
Yeah.
Like right now, lighting, posing, those are the big thing, big stars of the headshot world. But for some reason, authenticity is you figure out ways. It's almost like colleagues talk among themselves. Oh yeah, I do this, I do that. But dude, this is like vital, this element.
Yeah.
And the tweak, not the tweak, but the difference with it's exactly what I fell in love with actually, because when I did dating photographies, when I did dating photography. So actually, I'm going to tell the audience. So when I first became a professional photographer, I was a dating photographer for middle-aged divorced people, usually women.
Yeah.
And I had a close friend who was a dating coach. He sent me his clients because he knew that I was able to bring normally the way I shot, I would bring out genuineness.
Yeah.
But something transformed for me in the photo shoots. Like something else happened where I just kind of fell in love with my clients. Like I kind of saw them differently when I had this shoot. I saw their bestness. And I saw it and I was able to communicate to them so they could really believe what I said. I would see
Yeah.
something that they were not actually seeing. And there's something about they trusted me. And like during the shoot, they were like, I would say something, I would see them take it in and become it, really know it and click, right?
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
then when they saw that image, exactly the way you're saying, when they saw that image of them being someone that they almost didn't even know was there,
Yeah.
when they now saw that photo, it was wow, I'm that. Yes, I am that. And they were able to be almost allow that to be a vehicle of transformation to, oh yeah, I am that and I'm gonna be that. And it was
Yeah.
like um just really, really special. It's really special for me that I was able to bring this like personal therapeutic element to my photography. Like I initially just
Yeah.
wanted to be a photographer because I
Yeah.
loved it.
Yeah.
But actually be able to help people in that profound way was just a big deal. And if I may say something, may I continue saying
Yeah, of
more?
course.
And and it's interesting, like this element of bringing out somebody's amazingness was really my origin of what I really want to do and cared about doing. And
Yeah.
in thinking about transferring this to other photographers, I realized I didn't need to go so deep.
Yeah.
Honestly. I didn't need to really know the person. I didn't need to be a therapist myself and
Right.
go that deep and bring out their amazingness. Believe it or not, if I was able to capture
Hmm.
an instant of that person through a process, and just for 1 second, they could be that, just for a
Yeah.
second. And then if I captured it while they were that, that is good enough because that is still that same pureness that it really enabled them to look at that photo and say, wow, I am that, because it was still true. And that
Yeah.
same element of depth and candidness was there, but it
Right.
didn't require all the therapeutic kind of thing, which I love, but
Yeah.
that's not for everybody. So I ended
Right.
up creating a system that's really easy for everybody to accomplish. Anybody, even if they're not a people person,
Yeah.
they can do these things and this and this and this, and then end up magically creating an image that could be this vehicle transformation for their client.
Yeah.
And you mind, I'm going to keep on going.
Go ahead.
And it's almost like, not by the way, but kind of like in my doing this for dating photos, my source, my lead source, the
Hmm.
dating coach said, John, you need to capture this element of authenticity in every single one of your shots because for
Yeah.
dating, it's kind of obvious, especially if somebody's looking for a relationship. When
Right.
they're looking at the photos, they want to get a sense of who the real person is,
Hmm.
what they're really like. Will it even be enjoyable to go on a date? So I had to accomplish this in every single one of my shoots.
Yeah.
And I had to become an expert at that and find different ways of accomplishing that. And
Right.
it ends up as I'm thinking of, oh, yeah, I want to teach online dating photography to people. I realized that for headshots, so this was kind of like almost like a brain stopper for me. Like the real purpose of a headshot is a little
Yeah.
bit ignored. Like for dating photography, it makes sense because you really want to get to know who the person is. But guess what? For a headshot, the purpose, it's not really talked about much. For branding photos, maybe it is. For
Yeah.
regular headshots, the real purpose is to convert, is to
Hmm.
cause the viewer to get a sense that they actually know that person, the real human in the photo,
Yeah.
and have the opportunity to go, oh yeah, I like that person. Yeah, I want to look a little further. I want to get to, yeah, I'm a yes. So it's really the purpose is to convert. And guess what? Lighting doesn't convert. A pose doesn't convert. Even the best, whatever,
Yeah.
that doesn't do the job. What
Right.
does the job is a sense of connection. And that's what created by authenticity in the photo. And is becoming my mission to share that with other headshot photographers. Like, guess
Yeah.
what? Becoming an expert at authenticity, not only you can serve your client by possibly allowing them to see themselves differently,
Yeah.
and guess what? That's really why they're in your studio. It's
Yes.
not because of your lighting. It's because they need that photo to do a job, and the job won't happen with great lighting. The job will happen through authenticity and through a sense of connection. And that is becoming my mission to sort of just bring this out
Yeah.
to the public that we're missing something, guys. We're not paying
Right.
enough attention to this element. It's not all about the lighting. There's
Yeah.
other things at play here.
I love that. That is amazing. Really,
Thank
because
you.
nowadays, if you really look at it, people are just like, especially now with social media, and you go to see so many photographers too, they're not talking about authenticity. They're not mentioning that once in their conversation. They're talking about angles, lighting, give me a smile, move to the left, and then you have the person sticking in their stomach and they stop breathing to try to make themselves look 2 pounds, thinner. And it's not about authenticity, but when it should be 100% about authenticity. Because no matter what, you're never gonna like the person you see in that picture unless you like yourself. And once you like
Right.
yourself, then you could tell the difference when you have two people walking in the street and one person doesn't feel good about themselves and one person likes themselves. You could look at those two people and you know which one likes themselves and which one does not like themselves and is not happy with the person they are. It just shows. It shows through their smile, it shows through their glow, it shows through their eyes. All those things, your body talks. You don't, a person doesn't have to verbally talk. You could just look at a person and you know who they are. At least I do. just by their body language, just by their
Absolutely.
eyes, everything. So
Absolutely.
if you really could dig deep and really, help somebody and help them connect with their authenticity and help them realize how beautiful a person they really are, if that you are able to help them connect and they can actually work on themselves to get to that point where they like who they are. When they take those pictures, they're not going to take just pictures anymore. They're going to be taken they're going to feel like celebrities. They're going to feel beautiful about themselves. They're going to feel like they're the queen or the king of the castle. When they see those pictures, they're just going to be glowing because they're going to love that person, but they don't realize that's the same person. It's just that they feel different inside about themselves and they're liking
Absolutely.
the person they see. And that definitely does play a role in your features, your skin color, your eyes, your smile that, it changes when you can connect with yourself and you can start to like and love the person you are and you can connect with that authenticity, that specialness about you because everybody is special, but people don't realize that. Everybody is special and it's connecting with that person inside that makes you feel special because a lot of people sometimes don't think they're special. They don't think worthy of themselves. They carry self-doubt. But if we could get past that and we could really love that person inside, it makes a difference when you're in front of a camera and you're taking pictures and when you're presenting yourself in front of a group of people, people see that in you.
Absolutely. You said that so well, Stacey. Absolutely. And I'm thinking I'm talking to photographers, but really, who knows how many photographers are among your members, but even to individuals like you, I'm speaking to whoever out there with your cell phone. What Stacey was saying, is one thing to really see and feel your amazingness. Um, that could be a long road,
Mhm.
actually, and you might not be there yet. But the cool thing that I've discovered, and it really is like almost magic, if I could manufacture a microsecond where I am that, even through trickery,
Yeah.
right? And then click it while I'm in that state. I don't have to have become that like naturally,
Yeah.
but that photo is actually proof that I am that because I was that for that
Right.
second. And now that photo proves, oh my God, I really am that. And there's just crazy tricks. And I'm almost a little bit hesitant to show you one, but I want to give your followers, what your members, your followers, I want to
Yeah.
give you, some tricks of how you can do it yourself, actually.
Right.
Is that okay? May I?
Yeah, definitely. I think they're dying because there's so many people out there. There are a lot of people in our audience that are interested in photography and more so even because we are such a social generation and we're always taking pictures and we're always posting. Everybody wants to look good. Everybody wants to, really wow everybody else. So these tricks I think will be handy, whether you are studying to be a photographer, whether you are a photographer or whether you are just a regular individual that just wants to make their pictures shine, go for it. Give them those hacks.
And there's one of my main hack is kind of embarrassing, honestly. And it's not, I really encourage you to do it anyways, even if it's embarrassing. But the thing is, for me, when I'm with a client, I need to get them to a state like usually joy. Like you mentioned, like you and your cruise things, those photos work because you were just happy.
Yeah.
You were happy being on these cruises. So it so happens that happiness, right? Real joy when I'm not paying attention. I'm not worried about the camera. I'm just in my zone. I'm just happy. I'm feeling
Yeah.
happiness glows.
Yeah.
It just glows. So here's the thing. How can I trick myself to be happy and then take a picture and then I'm getting a picture of me being happy? And this is the embarrassing thing. And I'm okay, I'm gonna go for it anyways. So I call it the monkey dance, right? And but you gotta do. And if it
Yeah.
Here's one trick. So you look up at the sky and you make a gorilla noise, and then when you come back down to the camera, you click, and then you're in a state of joy. And
Right.
you're about to click yourself, while you're in the state of joy
Yeah.
matters. It matters. You're no longer worried about the camera, afraid or self-conscious. You're just in joy. So here you go. So it's embarrassing. Ready? Here you go. Woo, 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 woo.
I love it.
However embarrassing it is, Okay, it works. And even if, and it, there you go. And then either you have your friend taking a picture of you, maybe it's your bestie that you don't want to see everybody, you don't want everybody to see you doing that, but
Yeah.
press lots of pictures of you being in joy, and then you have a picture of you being in joy. And guess what? Joy is beautiful.
Right.
Joy is gorgeous. Joy is powerful. When you
Yeah.
see somebody confident and happy with themselves, there's something about it that actually impacts the way you physically look.
Yeah.
And another trick, that's a cool trick, is while have that person that's taking your picture, maybe if somebody's taking your picture, let's say you just want it just for this purpose. You just want a picture that you can fall in love with, that you could serve as your pulling you forward to being a better person or to see yourself differently. Have somebody that really loves you taking that picture, right?
Right.
That really truly knows that you're there and you're
Mm-hmm.
playing here, but I know for a fact that you're gorgeous, you're amazing, and they just know that about you, and they're ready to communicate that to you. And when you look in their eyes, you're that. You
Yeah.
know it because you know it's true, and then click. So once
Right.
again, another way to then when they're clicking in while you're in your zone. And when you see
Yeah.
that photo, you're seeing, wow, that's a powerful, confident person. And
Yeah.
similarly with joy, confidence, there's something about confidence that just it changes the physical, it just something about it just does something to the image.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. Those are great. Those are great little tools, little
Thank
hacks that
you.
really, make someone, kind of get the best of themselves out there. And,
Absolutely.
I think it's
Absolutely.
it's so important, and I think it's really good I think it's healthy for people to have pictures that they feel good about themselves. I think there it's because I've seen people doing that fake smile, and it's like it doesn't look authentic. And I've said that to close friends. I'm like, just be yourself. Just
Right.
smile. And then I have friends that will like, I don't want to take a picture. I hate my
Right.
smile.
Right.
And it's like, how do you get past when people are insecure about certain things about themselves, or what is your advice to people, how to let their authenticity shine? Like you talked about the two hacks, but is there ways that you personally, when you're a photographer, but you've gotten to this point, through trial and error, are there things in your life that you had to like overcome to connect with that authenticity? That's why you're such an expert in it.
It's interesting. Well, one is the authenticity. I just love authenticity in general in my life, just being real. But this is different. Like this is in terms of a photograph. Believe it or not, I'm that guy that cringes when there's a camera at me.
Oh,
I
really?
can't, and like even family photos, like I'll be like that. My mom would say, and my mom will yell at me and said, "John, can you smile?" And I said, and I go, "I am smiling." You know, I think I'm smiling. So believe it or not, in terms of hacks, so I don't even for myself, I'm not sure if I even have tricks for myself, but what I actually do is I sometimes have to do the monkey dance. I do the
Yeah.
monkey dance. And if I'm doing selfies, I have to do the monkey dance because the monkey dance, because what it does, it shakes you out of consciousness of the moment and
Yeah.
just allows you the opportunity to be in happy,
Yeah.
not smile, but happy for a second. And then
Yeah.
if I can, so it's funny, like I use my own tricks and sometimes they don't work. Sometimes I have to, I'm a tough client to myself. I have to really work the monkey dance to get me to
Yeah.
forget that there's a camera there, you
Right.
know? Yeah.
I think sometimes too people get self-conscious when they see the camera
Oh,
there,
totally.
you
Oh,
know,
real, totally.
you
And
know.
and it's like it's funny that I'm the worst. I'm like the worst in that department. Yeah,
I love it though. I love how you're able to like, really bring the best out of people. And,
absolutely.
and was there anything in your life that helped you like when it came to really connecting with yourself and connecting with and really come to that point in your life? Because we're all coming in different ages, we all come to that point. But realizing who you are and becoming the person you want to be. So it was no more just about photography. It was about authenticity. Authenticity made a big impact in your life. And when you got to that point in your life, like how did you actually get there, like how did you because like a lot of people try to figure out who they are, what their self-worth is, like do they have any self-worth, is there something that brought you to where you are today, that you now what's important to you, you feel good about yourself, you feel good about what you're doing, you're having a great time doing it, for those people, who want to have those feelings, not necessarily be a photographer, but they
Yeah.
want to feel good about themselves. You have any advice for them?
Well, I know what in my journey, it was kind of interesting. So I went to school for teaching and I did a lot of hand stuff with, therapeutic kind of stuff with kids. And then at one point I was career change. It's like no, I just want to, I forget about that. I just want to have fun because I love photography and I want to be a photographer. And it so happened that I got to do this work that I really love about helping people. So it was almost like I won the lottery. And
Yeah.
so it's not something I did. It was like I lucked out. It felt like I lucked out that my real soul kind of emerged with what I was doing with photography to be a healing kind of vehicle, or teaching about healing. Um, and it's kind of interesting. I'm a little bit hesitant to say this because it's not. There's one of the things I was thinking about talking with you, but it's a little bit. So I'm on my own path right now, and it's kind of I'm not. It's weird to say this so publicly, but it's called access consciousness,
Hmm.
and it's something. It's like a personal growth thing, and that's really what's I'm like kind of finding myself differently through it.
Yeah.
Just
Hmm.
knowing that my truth is really my wonderful truth is kind of hidden a little bit
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
nonsense, to be honest with
Right.
you. Um, but in photography, it was just lucky that I kind of came upon this. I came upon this gift of doing what I absolutely love to do.
You know,
So
it's
actually, so in terms of advice, let me think. So advice, almost like trust the universe, trust. To me, it just sort of happened that I found I was doing what I love to do.
It's so funny that you say that because people have said very similar things to me when I've asked them, how did you get to where you are now? It wasn't this whole story of failures and successes. It was basically luck for a lot of people. And sometimes
Mm.
I feel like it's manifestation. If you really want something and you have a goal at the end of the rainbow, if you're focused and the universe knows, I feel sometimes that our journey starts to shift and we go in the direction that we really want. And it's really like the law of attraction kind of thing where you kind of,
Oh, I love that stuff.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
you have those goals, you have those dreams, you have that end of the rainbow, you have that ultimate goal you
Yeah.
would love to achieve. And sometimes when you're really determined and you really have that inner compassion and the universe sees it, feels it, hears it, it kind of journeys you to the opportunity and it gives you those opportunities. Now it's your call. Do I take those opportunities and do something with them? That's what it sounds like to me, that
Yeah.
you kind of were put into that pathway and you had the opportunity and you took it, and it just kind of everything fell in place.
Absolutely. Yeah. So it's almost like loving. So it was almost like loving myself that I have this in me, just to know that I have this. And for me, it was really having the capacity in a photo shoot to really see that person differently and see them in a way they didn't quite see themselves. And
Yeah.
that was such a joy for me that it almost felt like a superpower. Like,
Yeah.
wow, I can do that. I can see them in a way they don't see themselves and
Right.
help them feel better about who they are. Like, wow,
Yeah.
you know.
I love it. Now, if you had to take everything we talked about today and you really wanted to emphasize on some important factors, what would be the things that you really want to emphasize for people that you feel would be a huge, make a huge impact on in their lives?
Got it. And I'm going to speak. Do you mind? I'm not going to speak to you. I'm going to speak to them.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So you feeling insecure about the photo, you really are gorgeous, beautiful, handsome. You are that. And just know that. And that regardless of the photo, regardless of anything, just know that.
Yeah.
And usually the problem with if you think you're not here, I have a thing I say, and it's really I believe in it. If you think you're not um, photogenic, it's usually has nothing to do with what you look like. It's really how you're feeling while you're getting the picture taken. And um, I don't know, give yourself a break. Actually, give yourself a break and get a professional photo shoot, actually, because having a professional photo shoot, I'm not trying to get you to hire me, but somehow the photographer hopefully can allow you to be a different person than you
Yeah.
normally see yourself as, and you get to now look at this person that is just amazing, and you get to
Yeah.
have that. And why not? Give yourself that. I'd say give yourself that gift.
I
Yeah.
love it. That's
Yeah.
great advice. I love it. Now tell everybody about the services you provide.
Um, Believe it or not, I'm not doing a lot. I'm a photographer and I do photography stuff. But I'm traveling, so it's not something that you'd actually use me for. But if you're a photographer, so I'm teaching this now to photographers, professional or otherwise, of how just tricks to bring out somebody's amazingness while you're about to click, like
Yeah.
how to do that. Um, so I have a course that I'll leave a link about it. Have a course, it's a program, so you can become that expert in this element of photography that's absolutely essential, but for
Hmm.
some reason it's not talked about a lot. But it's
Right.
absolutely critical and so valuable. So that's what I have right now.
I love it. Now, where can people find you?
I'm gonna leave a link in. I'll give you a
The
link to.
description? Okay, so we'll
Yes,
leave a link in the description and any social media that you may have, we'll put that in the
absolutely,
description as well.
absolutely. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. This has been amazing. And I'd love to have you back on the show. I'd love to
Oh,
talk
I
a little
love
bit
it.
more about some of the other topics you mentioned towards the end. And I really would love to go more deep into authenticity and the different aspects of it as well, because there's a lot to be talked about when it comes to authenticity and just, everything that centers around it. There's a lot of topics that you really could focus on to actually bring the best
Yeah,
out of everybody and really make everybody shine,
yeah,
especially in front of the camera, in their heart, in their soul, and so forth. Well, this has been amazing, John. Thank you so much for being on the show. I really enjoyed
absolutely.
this. You're a whirlwind of information and inspiration.
Yeah, thank you so much. Say this was such a treat, and it was so like it was so wonderful to to be able to have this real valuable conversation with you. It was a surprise. I didn't, and it was just wonderful. So thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. And this has been a pleasure. You have a great day.
You too, Stacy. Take care.
You too.